Welcome, race fans, to the only international stop for this year's USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. My name is Rob Howden. We are north of the border here in Ontario, Canada, for the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto. One of the toughest challenges on the season, this street circuit here on Lakeshore Boulevard, all here in the official capital of Ontario, Toronto. It's going to be a very tough race, as we all know. An iconic event on the NTT IndyCar Series. This race has been going for over 30 years. And again, as I said, one of the toughest racetracks these drivers will tackle all year long. We are getting into the final stretch run, of course, Toronto, and then we'll wrap things up in Portland in a couple of weeks' time. But this weekend is ultra important in the championship battle, especially for USF 2000. Today, already on the racetrack for a couple of sessions. A gorgeous day today. Practice already done. Qualifying coming up for race number one. We do have two qualifying sessions here this weekend in Toronto. Tomorrow, of course, qualifying for race number two. And then on Saturday afternoon, the first race of the doubleheader for both USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. A challenging racetrack, as we know. The drivers got a good feel for it in practice. It is time to go qualifying to line things up for race number one. Right after this break, folks, we'll be back. It's time to qualify.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by, like, a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, with practice in the books, it is time to do it for real. Bolt on some fresh Continental tires. It is qualifying for race number one for the USF 2000 program, all part of this Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto. My name is Rob Howden, joined by the voice of the Ontario Honda Dealers, Indy Toronto, Mr. Todd Lewis. And again, we'll bring Todd in here momentarily. Drivers rolling out here for what will be a 25-minute window. 20 minutes of green flag running. If we go green to checker, it'll be a 20-minute run. They've got to get their fastest lap in. And unlike other sessions and other races where we have just one qualifying session, you take your fastest lap and your second fastest lap, separate qualifying sections here this weekend for race one on Saturday and race two on Sunday. Todd, we had a fantastic start to the day. The USF 2000 drivers had one red flag in the middle just for a driver who actually blew a motor. Ryan Janetta for VRD Racing had an engine issue. He will not be out here as they try to swap that engine in. He's going to start at the tail of the field for race number one. We'll be able to come back to qualify tomorrow morning for race two. But the bottom line is they've had a chance to be on this racetrack 20-plus laps during that session. They got a feel for it. Now it's time to do it for real.
And having a conversation with their team, with their engineers between the practice and the qualifying session, perhaps a few adjustments, a few things that they noticed while they were out on course during the session this morning, and now hopefully get to apply them in this qualifying session. How much differently do they approach this session, being as this is just for race one, there will be a separate qualifying session for race two?
What I find very interesting is the fact that I think for a majority of the drivers, they're probably not going to make a lot of changes to the race car. I think it's going to be more just about them driving. A lot of the guys I talked to back in the pit area, in the paddock, in the Intercare Center, said straight exactly that. I left a lot out there, but I knew I was trying to take care of the car. I didn't want to make mistakes. I want to do the right things. And of course, that's what you need. Well, all those drivers, except for one, able to roll a car back to the trailer. So that is key. You want to make sure you're out here clean, no damage to the race car. Now it's all about laying that fast lap down. The track is going to change a little bit, right? We've had a lot of action since the last time they were on track.
That's right. More rubber down changes the handling characteristics of that. The sun's a little bit higher. The temperature's a little bit warmer. So probably in these first laps, they'll be feeling out the car and noticing any differences in how the car feels from when they were on track a little bit earlier this morning.
Yeah, one of the things about this particular racetrack, as we know, it is very tough. It's bumpy, it's pavement, it's concrete, all the different areas of the track that the driver has to get a feel for. But one of the big things here, not a lot of drafting. It's not a track, except for that big run down the straightaway from turn 2 or 1 and 2 down to turn 3. Really, your only opportunity to draft. I don't think you get even much coming out of 11 down to turn 1. Maybe a little bit of a draft, but the bottom line here is you got to wheel this car around. You're hustling it in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get the most out of the car and keep it within the concrete walls. We saw drivers behave very responsibly earlier this morning. They were trying to build up speed, and we did see significant increases in speed from the start to the end of the practice session with no incidents involving the walls.
Yeah, Pabst Racing's Caleb Gaffera was P1, Jack Jeffers second, Sebastian Garzon was third. That's the morning practice session. Brad Majman in fourth, and Christian Cameron fifth. I talked to Caleb Gaffera afterwards. I'd mentioned during the practice session this morning that we didn't have actually on the broadcast that this event would be very much like driving the Superkarts USA Super Nationals. That's that big karting event held every November in Las Vegas, oftentimes at the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino. The last couple of years it's been out at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's a parking lot race. And Caleb said, this is exact. I feel like I'm back at the Super Nats. I'm racing within the walls. It's like being at that track. And the funny thing is, you look at the top 5 drivers, they all have significant experience at that race, that big event that's been held for the last 27 years out in Las Vegas. So very much going back to the karting roots, but you still don't drive these cars like a go-kart. It may be the scenario and the feel of what you see, but you can't drive these like a kart. It's just a much different animal.
Seeing some of the drivers as we look back at this shot from corner number 9, just cars starting to skid just a little bit as they're coming through corner number 9, but not able to really build up too much speed and just get the car under control to start that next lap.
Again, it's all about getting the tires up to 10. Remember, the practice session earlier today was done on scuffed tires, what we call a carryover set. A set of tires that was used at the last event at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You used those used tires for the first session, so we're not sending the drivers out with brand new tires, right? Give an opportunity to then turn around and put the fresh tires on for qualifying. 3 sets of tires, brand new Continental tires, and of course those will run for both qualifying sessions of both races. So at least one of the races is very likely going to be on a used set of tires. Right now, G3 Ardros with the fastest lap coming out of the gate. Ardros in the number 23 for Pabst Racing. Here comes Thomas Schrag now, the co-point leader in this program. He and Jack Jeffers tied on top with 288 points. Jeffers gets the nod with more wins, 3 wins to 2 wins. But again, lots of racing still to go. The doubleheader here in Toronto, and then a triple header in Portland to see who's going to come away with that scholarship and that money worth over $405,000 to make the move up to USF Pro 2000 in 2026.
So a little head-to-head battle. Maybe somebody can snag the pole for qualifying and the bonus that goes along with it.
Yeah, indeed. If Jeffers or Schrag able to get the pole position, there's a bonus point there. It's also $1,000 as well up for grabs for the pole. $1,500 from Continental for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. So a little bit of walking around money. And indeed, that's like $1,300 Canadian, right, with the exchange rate.
Yes,
that's $1,000 US. So let's be real. When you're downtown here, it'd be nice to have some cash there. Drivers just starting to settle things in. As we said before, I don't expect the fast lap to come until maybe late in a 20-minute run. But I'll say this, Todd, for every one of these drivers, knowing the precarious nature of this racetrack, you've got to get a banker lap in early. You can't mess around. You've got to get open racetrack. You've got to put a lap down now, because all it takes is someone to get in the wall with 5 to go, and you're not going to get those last 5 minutes that you may have been hoping for that fast lap. USF Pro 2000 drivers will be right up here after this session as well. Jack Jeffers now goes on top for Exclusive Autosport, the number 92 machine out of San Antonio, Texas. 2 wins out of the 3 races at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course after a big wreck at Road America. Put him to the tail of the field and really hurt his position in the championship. He was able to storm back and had a career weekend, his best weekend in 3 years of running here, the USF Pro Championships. 2 in USF Juniors, his rookie year here in USF 2000. And Todd, he was the dominant factor all weekend long. Ended up getting 2 victories to get himself into that point lead tie.
Isn't that wonderful? Just to have that kind of a weekend where everything goes your way, just you don't put a wheel wrong, score maximum points, really start to try to put the pressure onto the champion.
And Todd, you had him in the press conference to kick off the weekend yesterday, and he talked about that, the issue that he had at Road America. Did some soul searching, right? He goes, I made a mistake. I let my team down with that wreck. It was lap number 3 early on, coming through 1, went side by side going for the lead. didn't come away, got into the wall on the outside, a hard lick on the wall, but to be able to turn around as a young man and have that focus, really realize, hey, I made a mistake there, and then to come back like he did, that's proof positive that the mental state is there.
The maturity comes along with it, and understanding, I pushed too hard. You want to, there's times when you want to push a little bit harder, but then also have to understand that the car's not going to give that to me.
That's it.
You have to show that restraint when necessary.
Wow, so true. Teddy Musella running in second for VRD Racing, driver out of Florida, number 25, Orlando, Florida. It's been like a tale of two seasons here for Teddy, and what I would have expected. First half of the season as a rookie, just banging out consistent top tens, anywhere from 5th, to 7th, 8th, 9th, actually more like 7th and 8th. Not so the last 5 races. He has been on a tear. 4 podiums in the last 5 races. The non-podium was a 4th. So he is top 5 in the last 5 races. This is a kid that's really getting a feel for the race car for VRD Racing. He has been super impressive as Caleb Gaffera now goes to P1. The race that Jeffers didn't win in Portland, in Mid-Ohio, that went to Caleb Gaffera, his first win for Pabst Racing.
It's amazing when you're talking about Teddy Musella. Sometimes we talk about the progression of drivers from the start of the season through the middle and towards the end, and you want to see that continued improvement and continued growth. Sometimes it happens abruptly, as you're talking about. Sometimes just a light goes on or something clicks, and it's just, okay, you figure it out, and then you start to have that extra step of consistency. Achievement.
You know how we say yellows breed yellows? Wins breed wins.
Yes.
Right? Because as soon as a driver believes in themselves that they can win races, they'll often win a bunch in a row. We saw that with Jack Jeffers, the wins he got. Scored a victory earlier in the year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the 2 races at Mid-Ohio. Gaffera, as we said, got his first win, felt that monkey off his back. I did a podcast with him as well just a week ago, so if you'd like to listen to the podcasts I've done most recently, Matt Clark on Monday, just head to the USF Pro Championships app. All my podcasts are there. I'll tell you one thing, Todd. They're pushing it coming out of turn number 11. You saw that little tank slapper?
We were talking about that during the practice session this morning, and that there was still, a comfortable amount of space between the right side tires and the outside wall. It's a lot less comfortable now than it was.
That was Eddie Beswick from Australia, multi-time Australian Formula 4 champion, who actually made his debut here last year with Exclusive Autosport and was a top 10 driver all weekend long, but got into the wall, I believe, on both occasions. Didn't get the result I think he would have wanted. But Beswick, a very talented driver, a single car effort for Synergy Motorsport, brand new program. Synergy's actually based in Australia, so this is kind of their outpost here in the U.S. Their plan is to build this team, add another USF 2000 car, eventually add juniors, and eventually add USF Pro 2000 to be like one of the big teams that has pro cars on all 3 of our programs. Gaffera on top, 112.623, but right behind him right now, Evan Cooley, 112.694. Cooley in second. Thomas Schrag third, Jack Jeffers fourth, G3 Argyros fifth, sixth is Teddy Musella, seventh Christian Cameron, eighth Brad Majman, ninth Eddie Beswick, who I discussed in the number 30, and Lucas Facuri rounding out the top 10 right now. You look at a driver like Evan Cooley looking to step things up. He's 6th place in the points, still mathematically in the championship chase. Got a 2nd place finish at Road America, a couple of top 10s at Mid-Ohio. Not quite the pace I think he would have wanted at Mid-Ohio. There's lots more there for Evan Cooley. But again, this driver only his 2nd year in the USF Pro Championships. And again, excited to see what he's going to be able to do as he continues to develop.
This is looking back on that tricky corner number 5 with that left-hander where you move around, the weight of the car shift, a little bumpy through that area, a little difficult to navigate in these cars.
I'll tell you, when we did the track walk, everybody was taking an opportunity to get a feel for the grip. There's a big concrete patch in the middle. It's a much different texture than any other corner on the racetrack. And when you get that, your tires are going to grip differently. Sometimes it's really loose, so you get in the car, you start rotating, and all of a sudden it gets on. You see it right down here at the bottom right side of the track. That's that turn 5 corner where you're rolling a lot of speed through there coming up at a turn number 4, and it's just such a different corner. In years past, you'd get in there, and if you, depending on the inclination of the car, it would either push, you'd have understeer because you turned in early, or later, but if you turned in early, potentially you could lose the rear end around as well. So that's something that every one of these drivers has to get used to. They've put a different profile in turn number 8 on the Apex as well, so everything a little bit different than last year. So 12 laps in almost, or 12 minutes rather in, 8 minutes to go, but will be a 20-minute run if they run through to the end. Jack Jeffers goes back to the top, a 112.506 for Jeffers. He is just about a tenth and a bit quicker than Caleb Gaffera. Evan Cooley third, Thomas Schrag fourth, Argyros for Pabst Racing rounds out the top 5. The 2 VRD drivers, Teddy Musella and Christian Cameron, 6th and 7th. 8 minutes remain. So one of the things about this racetrack, it's not. Oh, they got a driver off. One of the exclusive Autosport cars has, I believe, tapped the wall. That's either an exclusive car or that may be Christian Cameron. We'll try to get a better shot of that, but someone has tapped the wall. You can see the right rear damage to the machine. Oh, we're getting closer. I think that's Christian Cameron, I believe, guys. You see the wing damage there. That is, I believe, coming out of turn number 5. Todd, do you think I'm right on 5 there?
I think so. You can see if just before the on the right side.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is, corner 5. Yeah, that's
the 19.
There's a skid mark against the wall. Just as you exit that corner. It's just as we were talking about.
Just were talking about
difficulty navigating through that corner sometimes, and it looks like it caught the right side.
So let's set the stage here. Remember, 25-minute window to get the 20 minutes of green flag in. As we know, the AMR IndyCar safety team, the absolute best in the business. They're going to get this thing cleaned up. They're going to get Christian Cameron out of the race car. You can see him climbing out now, which is fantastic. Happy to see that after a hard knock coming through turn number 5 there. We've seen many drivers do it. Just a little wide. You either lose the rear or you push into the wall. And, of course, as we see, he has all right side damage, the front and rear suspension damage on that race car. The question is, will there be enough time to go back to green, and how much? If it's 5 minutes of cleanup, then we're going to get the full timing still.
And this is the importance, as you mentioned earlier, about making sure that you have a good lap in to ensure a starting spot and you're not stuck at the tail end. It was Thomas Schrag who put in the quick one just before we went to that red flag. So
the 2 drivers in the championship chase right now are first and second. Thomas Schrag trying to take a hold of the lead with a bonus point here. Schrag P1 with a 1:12.0. And how about that? He is a half a second faster, so the tires were coming up to temp, and everything was clicking for everybody. A number of drivers went green on that lap as well, meaning their personal best. Cooley, Cameron had just turned his fastest lap at a 1:13 flat. Eddie Beswick, both Patricio and Rodrigo Gonzalez, the 2 brothers from Mexico for D-Force Racing. They had turned their fastest laps, as did Sebastian Garzon. I'm surprised Garzon's down in 15th right now, probably waiting or just hadn't put that first lap in because he was in the top 3 in practice earlier today. He's all the way down in 15th spot.
So he will definitely be hoping for a quick cleanup here of this car so we can get back and resume at least some of that session before the window of opportunity closes, and we have to clean these cars up. And it looks like that wall moved just a little bit. Is that why they have the tools out there?
Yeah, and I think they're going to try to make sure the lip doesn't come out, right? They're going to try to move that back just far enough so that that lip won't come out and potentially catch another car. They're doing a great job to get this thing up on the hook already. And again, remember, we have a 25-minute window of time. We're looking to get 7.5 more minutes to go. The red flag came out at 13:47. So again, we're hoping that we're going to be able to go all the way through. I think we're 20 minutes in right now. So we'll see whether or not we get a couple more laps here. The AMR IndyCar safety team, as quick as they possibly can, trying to get this track back to green. And they'll be in close contact with race control to see if we go back at it. If we don't, Thomas Schrag is P1 right now. Jack Jeffers in second. Caleb Gaffera third. Evan Cooley and G3 Argyros round out your fast 5. Teddy Musella 6th. Christian Cameron 7th. Remember, he'll lose his fast lap for bringing out the red flag. Brad Majman in 8th spot. Ezzy Beswick in 9th. And Lucas Facuri, the Brazilian, rounds out the top 10. And there you go. Accident scene is cleared. They're just going to get this car, Cameron, somewhere that they can put it behind the wall. You can see the damage, the right side damage there. Listen, that happens a lot at this racetrack. That is obviously one of the toughest corners where drivers get in the wall there.
The yellow flag out at the starter stand to indicate that we are imminently going back to green, so we will get at least a bit of a resumption of this session. And now it's going to be, okay, who's still got some heat in their tires? Who can get a fast lap in before the clock runs out?
And remember, because we've gone 13 minutes already, the fuel's starting to burn away. These cars are getting lighter and lighter. So, indeed, if they're able to get the tires up to temperature, we should see drivers get out there and drop the hammer and potentially go P1 still. This is just for race 1. Again, race 1 set to go tomorrow. A fantastic time slot as well for the drivers here in USF 2000. 1 o'clock will be going green flag racing with the first of 2 races. We'll see how much we get here. Thomas Schrag up top. He laid a lap down, though. 1:12.083. And we're underway. We're back at it. Everybody's storming back out. Thomas Schrag leading the way. VRD leading the team championship, so they get the front pit spots as well. So Schrag's going to have open racetrack, and he'll be the first guy across the line as well.
Did I see some stickers on some tires going out there too?
And why not?
New stickers on, throw them on, see if you can get a quick one.
I think that's the way to go right now. We've talked about the fact that they're going to have another qualifying run tomorrow. They put, guys got, 9 laps, 7, 8, 9. Those tires that they just used, they're going to put a heat cycle on them. So by Saturday or Sunday, they're going to be real quick, real nice. Yeah, you won't have that absolute top, but we don't have a real peak with the Continental tires. We always see it's not like some of the tires they use in Europe where you've got to be 2 laps, you've got to nail that peak. The tires get faster and faster as the car gets lighter. You see how bumpy it is coming into turn number 5. That's where the incident happened right there. You see the skid marks there for Christian Cameron, who went straight off into the wall. Hopefully he got the hands off the steering wheel there and has no damage to the wrist, because that can happen pretty quickly. But again, we're back at it. The timing stripe is coming on out of this corner here through 7 and 8. So the alternate timeline is down into turn number 8. So they're already on the clock right now. We still have 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. I think we may potentially be able to go the full distance here. We'll see. Drivers are on it right now because, listen, you've got to go. You know that they've been told straight up that Schrag's got a fast lap here.
And now it's about finding yourself a little bit of space and not having anyone impede that fast lap. You want to try to get away, get a little bit of a gap. If you're about 6 cars deep, maybe you want to hang back just a little bit here. Yeah,
that looked like Jack Jefferson, the 92, I think right behind Schrag potentially. In fact, he's going to try to get a drag down the line here. They're going to go side by side. This is not going to help at all, because unless you're running full open laps, it's just not going to work. Yeah, there is a little bit of a lockup there to the inside for Thomas Schrag. That's first and second in points. So that's first and second and third in points, essentially, as they run on track, with Schrag provisionally having the bonus point. There's Jeffers going to throw it down the bottom into the corner. And indeed, Jeffers like, no, I got to go here quick, because he had to do that. There's no way you're going to hang back like that and not be able to get your full laps. And Schrag could have just kind of checked up a little bit here. You've got to go by, and he did aggressively. He's going to get a couple more laps if lucky. He's got to get back around here again to get a quick lap in. Right with him there is Teddy Masella. He's more than happy to get the draft off of Jack Jeffers. This could get good near the end. Look at these drivers coming through. That was a fantastic angle, Todd, of how much these kids are wheeling it out there right now.
That is another tricky corner on this track here around Exhibition Place at the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Is trying to come through there. It is very precise that you need to be, and still the back end of the car will step out occasionally.
Haven't had a chance to say hello to all those of you who are tuned into the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel or potentially watching on the app. Thanks for sharing a little bit of your Friday with us. We've got a great weekend full of racing. As we know, we've got our top 2 levels of this USF Pro Championships, 2000 and Pro 2000 on the docket here this weekend. The NTT IndyCar Series will put on a show on Sunday for sure, and our final 2 races will be right before the main event on Sunday. The drivers rocket their way down Lakeshore Boulevard here in Toronto. Down to that inside. Look, again, there's that concrete patch they have to come over. It's such a unique racetrack, Todd. You're searching for grip every time you get into the corners like that.
And transitioning from asphalt onto concrete and back again. The asphalt is also aged in various stages. Some of it is a little bit older, so that's going to have a different grip level. So a real challenge for drivers, whichever series that you're running in, to navigate these corners.
Again, getting these tires up to temperature now. If they didn't put new fresh tires on, it's going to be a little time to kind of clean them off a bit. There's that molding compound that's on the tire that pops it out of the mold. So maybe a couple laps to get it where it needs to be. They've set the pressures where they want. Again, this is what it's all about in qualifying. You set the tire pressure to make sure that it's going to come up right when you think the peak of the tire. You want it at the end of the session. Those tires come up to temperature. They come up to pressure. The driver's got to make sure there's open racetrack, and then they've got to nail it as well right when the car gets as light as possible. Everything goes into making a fast qualifying lap. You're not just hammering down. And that was a big slide for Argyros.
That's
coming out of one
drift.
Wow. And again, we cannot reiterate enough how much and how talented these young drivers are, just wheeling it around this racetrack. Schrag still on top, a 1:12.083. Just over 3 minutes remaining, so probably 2, maybe 3 laps left. Let's see if anybody has a quick time. Christian Cameron still in 7th spot. I don't know that they may have already pulled his fast lap out for Christian Cameron. That would put him still 7th. Teddy Masella just turned his fast lap again. He's pushing behind Jack Jeffers. He goes to P5. Lucas Fercuri goes up to 8th. So drivers are starting to get some speed here. Schrag still on top of the 112.083. Jeffers a half second back, 112.506. Again, if one of these two drivers gets the pole, they'll take the point lead right now going into Saturday because they're tied right now with 288 points. Jeffers has the tiebreaker based on wins, but a bonus point for pole could put Thomas Schrag or Jack Jeffers on top. Hey, it could be Gafera, could be Cooley, could be Masella. We'll see who goes P1. Under 2.5 minutes remaining, and the driver's really starting to wheel it here. 70 degrees here trackside. The interesting thing, Todd, it's going to be a lot warmer tomorrow and a potential for the R word as well.
Yes, that's a possibility at some point through the weekend. We'll have to wait and see when and if that occurs and what sort of impact it will have as we're just passing through 2 minutes left in this qualifying session for the USF 2000 series. Pro 2000 coming up in just a few minutes afterwards once we're concluded here as well. But now you have to think that if you put new tires on, they've got to be close to temperature. You're light on fuel. Everything needs to be where it should be to get one, maybe two more good laps in there.
Teddy Masella's gone to second. Evan Cooley's gone to third. Here comes the pace of these young drivers. 112.445 for Masella, 4.89 for Cooley. Jeffers goes back into fourth spot, but he had open racetrack out front. Let's see if he's able to leverage it. Jeffers in the fourth spot. Still, the purple time, though, belongs to Thomas Schrag, 112.083. They're all pushing here. There's still a minute and a half remaining. They're going to get this lap for sure. Maybe one more, to be honest. They're going to get back, I think, Todd, to the alternate timing line and get one more lap after this one. Look at the big slide through there. Wow, that was one of the D-Force cars, the number 17, I believe, of Rodrigo Gonzalez. Drifted it through turn number 11. Impressive for Masella and Cooley. Can they keep the momentum going in the right direction? They're within 4/10 of Schrag. VRD Racing currently 1-2.
How much pressure is Jeffers feeling right now? Currently fourth quickest. He would be on the outside of row number 2 if they start as they're stacked right now. So he's going to get one more chance, maybe, to go on top. But Thomas Schrag, did he better his time just a little bit there?
Still a 112.083. I don't know that he did.
Nope,
he's still on top. He's still purple on top. And again, time winding down 30 seconds. Remember, the drivers trying to race themselves back to the alternate time line. Once they get there, they're going to get one more lap. So everybody coming through here right now is on one more lap. There's 19 seconds to go. They're all going to get one more circuit. See if they can't get it done. Right now, Caleb Gafera still fifth. Anthony Martello, the Canadian, up into sixth spot. Finding some more speed from this morning. G3 Argyros, Christian Cameron, Lucas Facurian, Brad Mash for the top 10. Again, here's the checker flag, so everybody coming across the line, this will be it. Everybody on the racetrack but Vian Boshoff. He is pulled off, the South African. Schrag still on top. Does anybody have anything here? Final lap. Cars are the lightest they've been all session long. Is there enough tire? Caleb Gafera's gone to third. Gafera up to P3, a 112.464, just 200s behind Masella. Jeffers down in fifth spot now. Does Jeffers have anything to work his way back up onto Schrag, or will Thomas Schrag come away with the bonus point? Everybody trying to finish up this lap now. They'll see the checkered flag when they come back around. There's Masella. Here they come through. Evan Cooley's gone to second, 112.291 for Cooley. He goes to P2. Still waiting to see if Jeffers has got anything more in the final lap. He did a 112.598 a couple laps ago. Everybody else finishing things up here. Argyros goes up into sixth. So Argyros up into sixth spot. Facuri up into eighth. And it looks to me like Thomas Schrag is going to come away with the pole position and the bonus point to move him P1. Sebastian Garzon quick on the tail here as well. Who else is on track still? Schrag, Cooley, Masella, Gafera, Jeffers, your fast five here. They got the full time in. USF Pro 2000 next, and there you have it, folks, the unofficial results. And a new point leader for VRD Racing. Thomas Schrag out of Bethel, Ohio, goes P1 to get a bonus point to break the tie on top. Schrag P1 by over 0.2 of a second from Evan Cooley. Teddy Masella and Caleb Gafera will be on row number 2. Jack Jeffers along G3 Argyros in row 3. Anthony Martello, the Canadian, alongside Lucas Facuri on row 4. Top 10 capped by Christian Cameron and Sebastian Garzon. Brad Mashman, 11th. Eddie Beswick, 12th. Joshua Leonel, 13th. Timmy Carell in 14th. Patricio Gonzalez and his brother Rodrigo 15th and 16th. Vian Bossoff 17th. And Kaylee Countryman in her debut here in Toronto goes P18. Big start there for Thomas Schrag, 1:12.083. That's how you get the job done coming out of the gate here in Toronto.
Posted that lap just before we had that red flag situation. Quickest lap of the day, and it held up for Thomas Schrag. And doesn't it set up for a little drama in tomorrow's race, the first of two for the USF 2000 series, with Jack Jeffers, the man he was tied with coming into today's qualifying session. Now a point behind. He will roll off fifth with a little ground to make up.
So there you have it, folks. Schrag, Cooley, Masella, Gaffera, and Jeffers, the top five. That caps things off for qualifying for USF 2000. We'll be back here in 8 minutes. Don't go anywhere. USF Pro 2000 to qualify for race number 1 at 2:10.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
The USF Pro Championships is really the development level for drivers coming out of karting to move their way to the NTT IndyCar Series. The whole concept is we teach them everything they need to know all the way up the ranks.
The USF Pro Championships, it's North American Open Wheel Racing's version of college sports. Got 3 tiers to it, which is pretty important. This whole thing is geared to go upwards and really define who the next stars happen to be.
There's so many drivers that come into the sport and maybe don't have the financial resources to make it all the way to the big time, right? All the way to IndyCar. The scholarship program provides a monetary award that goes to a driver winning the championship that allows them to move up to the next level. So if you win a championship, you win the money you need to go racing in the next level.
A number of drivers in IndyCar today have used the ladder system to gain experience and to gain funding via the scholarships to pay for the next level.
The USF Pro Championship helped me get to this spot in my career because of the many opportunities that it creates.
It was massive for me. The scholarships that are implemented are crucial for drivers. That was my lifeline all the way to IndyCar, and it's the big reason why I made it.
It's very unique, you know. We have the opportunity to win our way to IndyCar, basically, and some guys have done that.
The USF Pro Championships really helped me to get where I am today. You get so much racing on IndyCar tracks. You get ovals too, which for a European guy, that's something that's very useful.
This series is a smooth way of adding new developments into my career and new aspects of it. It's a smooth way of learning how to grow as a driver.
It has a great reputation. The competition level is amazing. It just gives drivers a great opportunity to advance.
The field here is really, really intense. I mean, people are down to the hundreds of thousands a second.
It's a great development series, and I think it's somewhere that you should be if you want to be going to IndyCar.
You know, one of the key factors in the USF Pro Championship that we always focus on is the level of safety. You know, back in 2022, we introduced the Halo to the car, which has increased the level of safety dramatically. And again, we're one of the only series that runs that in the junior level. And that's the key for us, is to make sure we take care of our drivers. Number one, on the racetrack. Number two, with the Halo. But number three, of course, with the AMR IndyCar safety team as well. Just like IndyCar has a dedicated crew of people that when there's an incident, they're the ones that arrive on scene the first time. They're with us as well. They know our race cars, they know our drivers. So when they get there, in the event there is an incident, we make sure they're completely taken care of.
So for the safety in our series, we follow IndyCar pretty much on all the safety standards as far as drivers' helmets, harness devices, suit requirements. We follow the IndyCar, and the reason for that, because we want to be the best out there. We want to be the safest. We want a mum and a dad to know their son, their daughter is in the car and they're absolutely the safest they can be.
They always think of safety first, and now every car has Halo, so if there's any flying debris or if you flip, you know 100% that you're going to be safe. I had a big crash, Freedom 100, 2019 back in Indy Next, and before my car even stopped rolling, I already had an AMR safety guy in the car saying, "Hey, are you okay?"
Well, having started out as a racing dad, I know full well the concerns of a parent to make sure that we protect their kid. And we are very safety conscious in the USF Pro Championships.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
So here we have it, out of the frying pan into the fire. USF 2000 getting their qualifying done. New point leader, Thomas Schrag for VRD Racing, get that bonus point to break the tie between he and Jack Jeffers. Lots of racing still to do for that category. 5 races, as we know, 2 here this weekend and a triple header in Portland in a couple of weeks' time. Little different here, the USF Pro 2000 program, as we have a driver out front, and he is out front massively already. Max Garcia from Pabst Racing, last year's USF 2000 champion, running the scholarship livery on the car, has a chance to clinch the championship here this weekend. In fact, you can do it in race number 1, depending on what the other drivers in the program do. Racing after that scholarship worth over $594,000 to go Indy Next Racing in 2026. Great field of 19 cars getting set to go. Very same setup as we had for USF 2000. A 25-minute window of time, 20 minutes of green flag running. Drivers are onto the racetrack right now, and again, a pole position here is going to be all but done for Max Garcia if he comes away with it. Lots of drivers ready to challenge. They want race wins. Ready to get back at it again. My name is Rob Howden, joined by the voice of this event, Todd Lewis. Todd, we saw a really strong session there. One little mistake by one driver, Christian Cameron. Otherwise, we got our 20 minutes in.
Copy-paste for this session for USF Pro 2000 as well. These drivers now just getting out, start to get some heat in those Continental tires, find themselves a little bit of space, burn off the fuel, and then ideally at the back end of the session is when you'll have the quickest times. But we got a little bit of a warning too. had the red flag incident, still managed to get the full session in, but you want to make sure that you have a good lap in the early going.
Normally we have a 30-minute window, so a little bit extra. Last year we only had a 20-minute window. This year it's 25. We're able to kind of shoehorn a 25-minute window into the schedule here today, so give them a little more chance if something does happen. It worked, obviously, for the drivers in USF 2000. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen any of the fast laps late in that run. These drivers here getting at it. I talked about the fact that Max Garcia with a big lead already in the championship, but there is a heck of a fight right now for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Ariel Elkin for TJ Speed Motorsports from Israel, 287 points. Matt Clark behind him by only 8 points. Super close there. Alessandro De Tullio not that far back either. Another, I think, 12 points back. So there's a lot of racing to be done here as well. 2 races here in Toronto, 2 in Portland, just 4 to go. But a lot of opportunity for drivers to see who's going to come home second and third in the championship.
Absolutely. Score as many points as you can. Each of those points helps improve your position in the overall final standings, and you never know what opportunities might come about if you can jump a spot or two in the late going.
Just a single Canadian driver in the USF 2000, Anthony Martella. 2 here today. Matt Clark from Milton, Ontario, and Richmond Hill's Nick Jilks. Running for Jay Howard Driver Development. He made his debut 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio. Jokes in the number 4 and the white and red exclusive Autosport number 90 for Matt Clark. Both those drivers were able to get clean and green through the morning section today, and we'll be looking for outright pace here today. Again, 20 minutes of green flag run, and there's the 44 of Alessandro De Tullio, currently 4th in points. We'll see who comes away with it. Matt Clark's been absolutely stellar throughout the season. Those of you who are here and want to cheer for the Canadian driver, he has 9 podium finishes over 14 races. Has not yet got that first win of the season. He'd like to get that, break that goose egg, but very strong all season long. Really, the consistency only matched by Max Garcia. Last year, en route to winning the USF 2000 championship, he finished every race, completed all the laps. He's done that this year as well. Every finish so far, 14 races. He's got 6 wins, every finish inside the top 4. It's unbelievable.
That is the dream consistency season that you want. It's somewhat reminiscent of Alex Palou in the NTT IndyCar Series,
yes,
having that kind of season. Matt Clark is exactly the same, clicking off podium after podium finish. He's had a couple of bobbles, some of them not necessarily his doing, but hasn't quite captured that victory yet, and that's what's got him sitting in 3rd in the championship.
We look at the second event of the season at NOLA Motorsports Park, where he came out of the gate and was 3rd in the opening round. He got taken out in race number 2 and had to pit and was done for the day, and then his fire extinguisher went off in race number 3. So yeah, you're getting covered with all the extinguisher fluid, and again, that was the end there. So a couple of DNFs early in the season. He's been just clawing his way back ever since, and had a lot of great runs, as we know. Had a great opportunity to sit down with him for my podcast, my USF Pro Insider podcast on Monday. The week before, on Friday, I chatted with Thomas Schrag, who's now on the pole for USF 2000. Earlier that week, I talked to Mid-Ohio winner in USF 2000, Caleb Gaffera. So 3 really good podcasts. Jump on, get to learn a lot about these drivers. They are the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. That's what I love about getting a chance to sit down with these drivers, talk about their career, where they came from, and really kind of dissect how their year's gone.
And what has brought them to this point in their journey. Exactly. And part of that is the opportunity in the USF Pro Championships through the 3 steps of the ladder, juniors, F2000, and the top level here, the Pro 2000 Series, the proven pathway to the elite levels of open wheel racing. A number of these drivers will be making the move to Indy next year. Of course, likely Max Garcia with the scholarship, but a few other drivers will also make that move.
And I think a lot of drivers are focused on that. This is where I need to be. If I've been running, like a guy like Matt Clark, he's it's a second year in USF Pro 2000, banging all these podiums. He's done what he has to do here. He's ready to go up to Indy next. I would say the same thing for Ariel Elkin. He's probably ready to move. Jacob Douglas would like to make the move up as well. There are drivers. Max Taylor, we know 100% he's going Indy next racing. Running a number of races this year already with HMD Motorsports, coming off a fantastic 10th place finish at Iowa Speedway. That pass around the outside at turn number 2 at Iowa Speedway, 3 wide, that was vintage Max Taylor. Hanging it on the outside, going high, wide, and handsome, and man, it was a pass. I think the move of the race for sure. Let's see how things settle in here. First couple of drivers coming across to get lap number 4 in. You probably figure they've, I think, got enough heat in these Continental tires. Max Garcia, P1. Alessandro De Tullio, 2nd. Jacob Douglas in 3rd. Oh, issue there. That's coming on the front straight. That's the 33 of Tyke Durst. Has pounded the wall coming out of turn number 11. That is, again, right side damage. Our first driver making big contact coming through that area. They've got the yellow flag flying for sure. In fact, we're going to go red flag. Every driver worked their way back to the paddock here. We got essentially about 14 minutes in, so half the session. Very similar to the USF2000 as we kind of split it in half. So we'll see how it plays out. I would assume that drivers may be able to get themselves fresh tires. We do have a replay of this, folks. So here's the incident in turn number 11. Not hard to lose the rear of the car and then tank slap it into the wall. No, he just completely missed the turn in. Wow, just trying to carry too much speed into turn number 11. Not able to get the car pointed where he wanted to go. And look who's coming right behind him across the line. That is Max Garcia. That is your P1 driver and championship leader, was first on the scene. Man, I'll tell you this, though, folks. That's a hard hit.
That is a very hard hit. And you're right, just simply carrying too much speed through the corner. It's good to see the driver getting out of the car after such a hard hit, and that is a helpless feeling as you're approaching corner 11 and knowing that it is a pronounced corner, a pronounced left turn, and just knowing that this car is not going to turn and I'm going to hit that wall.
They will be burning some midnight oil at Turn 3 Motorsports to get the 33 of Tyke Durst ready for tomorrow's qualifying session. They qualify again for race number 2 in the morning. That's one thing for Tyke. He had laid down the 14th fastest time. He's going to get a shot at going quicker. He was top 10 earlier today in practice, so an opportunity for him to get back in the car for qualifying 2. Again, the first time we've seen a driver make that mistake. What we've seen, Todd, majority of the day has been more loose coming out. Drivers get it turned and kind of losing the rear end a little bit and really having to use that wheel to get it back. More of a tank slapper. That was strictly coming through the corner. Just missed, didn't get it down to the apex and carried too much speed through and it understeered right into the wall.
So that's 6 minutes, 15 seconds that have gone by. Will we see drivers make the switch to a fresh set of tires with so much time left? We'll maybe wait and see. I don't know if the strategy will play the same, but this is going to take a few minutes to get this cleaned up. But we hopefully will get the majority of this 13:45 that remains.
Yeah, they're ready to go. They've already got the strap in over the roll hoop. They're going to get this thing up as soon as a tow truck gets out to them. They're ready to go. The crew also getting the track all cleaned up. We'll have a look at the wall as well. Here is your top 10. Max Garcia, P1, 4 laps in. Garcia with a 109.675, a couple of tenths of a second quicker than Alessandro De Tullio. Jacob Douglas sits in third. Liam McNeely in fourth. Max Taylor fifth. Let's talk about Liam McNeely. Here's a driver who ran USF Juniors last year, finished second overall in the championship behind Max Taylor. Started the season off at USF2000, sticking with his team, J. Howard Driver Development. Won the first 5 races in a row, and then issues with his visa, wasn't able to get over to the race at Indianapolis, on the road course in Indianapolis. He has missed all the races since. No trouble getting into Toronto, into Canada. So I interviewed him. So what do we do? Listen, let's go run USF Pro 2000. I've shown I can win races in USF 2000. I want to go pro in 2026. That's where I'm going. I'm coming back in 2026 ideally. So let's do it here. And he's unbelievably quick. He was very strong yesterday. We'll talk more about him. We are going to have another look at this replay. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see it, have a look on the screen or up on the big screens here. You'll see him coming through. Oh, I wonder if he potentially tapped the inside wall. Let's have another look at that when we can. You can see the remainder of the damage. That hard hit, the wing goes straight up in the air. What? Does he tap the inside wall potentially? Let's see if there's any dust up on the right side of the screen. Did you see that? I think he was coming through and trying to cut the corner and didn't get the apex correctly, hit that left front. When you tap the left front, you're along for the ride at that point.
Good catch. Yes, you don't know what damage might have been done to that left front as well. You see that obviously the right has had significant damage when the impact on the outside wall occurred. But yes, just that little puff of dust as drivers want to do. You want to cut that apex as tight as you can to that wall. And just as soon as you touch it, it upsets the car and sends you into the outside.
Yeah, the momentum gets pushed to the outside of the corner. That's a hard impact for Tyke Durst. Remember, we have 13 minutes and 45 seconds still, but what do we have within our time window? Because they are taking a little more time to get this cleaned up than they did with the car of Christian Cameron over in Turn 5 midway through the USF 2000 race. So I don't know that we're going to get all 13 minutes and 45 seconds left. We'll see whether or not, knowing what's coming up next on the track, we may have an opportunity to extend a little bit. All depends whether or not we can make that happen. But Garcia, DeTulio, Douglas, McNeely, and Taylor are the top 5. Matt Clark in 6th spot. 7th, Ariel Elkin. 8th, Michael Costello. 9th is Logan Adams. Talked a lot about him in the practice earlier today. Single car effort out of the Comet Racing Newcastle Motorsports Park machine. Adams out of Greenfield, Indiana. A podium here a couple of years ago in USF 2000. Adams in the number 21 in the 9th spot ahead of Sebastian Manson out of New Zealand for TJ Speed. Frankie Mossman currently 11th. George Garcia in 12th. Joey Brienza 13th. Tyke Durst 14th. Carson Eder in 15th spot. Nick Jilks at 16th. Brady Golan, as we know, had the incident in practice, so he lost some time there. Golan just getting himself up to speed. And only a couple laps so far for Cooper Becklin and Nicholas Montier. Both those drivers just getting 1 lap in. I don't know whether or not they were waiting on the grid or whatever happened, but the bottom line is they've turned laps that are well off the pace, 8-9 seconds off. They have not put a lap in at speed yet. So Becklin and Montier are hoping for the longest run they can.
A cleanup crew is just exiting the track now. We'll get the AMR safety vehicles back into their positions, and we can resume green flag conditions during this qualifying run for USF Pro 2000, and the countdown clock has started to run, so it's not going to be a full 20 minutes. They've started the clock already. We're limited in window. Yes, 25-minute window, so we've got to that point where the clock restarts. We are back underway, so it's going to be, listen, we're turning lap times of 109, 110s, right? They're going to get a lot of laps still, at least a handful of laps. That's all they're going to need to get in. So an easy opportunity to get a bunch of laps. If we're at Road America, it'd be a little different. It takes a long time to get all the way around that racetrack, almost 3 minutes to get to the timing line the first time. We are underway. Green flag back at it, and the advantageous front pit spot for Max Garcia, Pabst Racing leading the points championship there. And that points championship lead gives them the front of the grid. Look at these drivers rolling out here trying to dive bomb each other. They don't want to get stuck behind each other. Everybody jostling for position already. I see some stickers flopping around there. A number of teams have gone to fresh rubber. Looks to be like Exclusive Autosport putting fresh rubber on Matt Clark and Joey Brienza. And I expect Carson Eder as well. So those drivers can take a bit of time because they know they're going to have to bring those tires up to temperature. We'll see how it all plays out. There's the Pabst cars as well. They've got fresh rubber on. So, yeah, a number of teams putting on the fresh boots, the new Continentals for the second run here to see who goes P1. Looked like Garcia was another one of those who did that, trying to score the quick time. So we'll see. And now everybody's jostling for position because there's drivers that say, I don't want to be behind this driver. I don't want to be near this driver. I want to get away from him and try to find that little bit of open space while you bring the tires up for temperature, a little bit of fuel burns off, and ultimately in the final couple of minutes you have that cracker of a lap.
And that's it. Looking for that flyer at the end. They've all got a banker lap in here right now. We got, maybe four laps at speed. Of course, just kind of getting to the window there of the tires being good. 4 laps in. The fuel still burning off here. A long way to go. Still that 10-plus minutes remaining in the session. There goes Clark by. There's one of the TJ Speed cars. Everybody rolling through. Jay Howard machine of Jilks. Remember, Jilks and McNeely. McNeely making his debut here in USF Pro 2000. Todd did the same thing last year, making his debut in USF 2000. Put the car on the front row and end up finishing on the podium. Just an absolutely stellar run. We talked about Englishmen being good here in this program in USF Pro 2000. Think back to Louis Foster, who swept the weekend here. Was able to get victories for Exclusive Autosport en route to his championship, and of course now running for Ray Hall, Letterman Landing and Racing is Liam McNeely, the next British driver to storm his way through the program.
So another good reason why you would want to come back and start in Pro 2000 after you've had success here and in your debut a year ago.
And he could have came back and run USF 2000, but why? Make that step up. If you're going to run pro next year, might as well do it now. See drivers kind of jostled around looking for that open racetrack they want. There's the Turn 3 Motorsports cars all coming through together. That'll be Becklin, Montiero, Golan, DeTulio. There's DeTulio in the 44. Alessandro DeTulio, great start to the season, won 3 of the first 4 races, but after that, only 2 more podium finishes for the remainder of the season. He just has not had that run early. He was super quick at St. Petersburg and at NOLA Motorsports Park, but just hasn't been able to match that form in the second half of the season. Still coming in here 4th place in points with a shot at P2, so he's not done yet trying to go to the runner-up spot. As we know, though, Max Garcia looking to see if he can't lock things down tomorrow in this championship. If he comes through and wins it, I believe if he wins it with all the points, he will take the championship with a victory. because he'll have 33 points, and he's got to get to 420. He's got 384 right now. If he gets to 420, nobody can catch him. Ariel Elkin, if he gets every point over the next 4 races, will be 198 points. All he's got to do is steal a win away from Elkin, and he's going to be the champion, and that could happen tomorrow. I'll tell you this, if he does it, we don't have the championship trophy ready yet. We'll have an interview with him, but he'll have to wait to Portland until he sees that championship trophy. I don't know that the last time we had someone lock the championship in early. Usually it is at Portland. It's going to be that way for USF Juniors and USF 2000 for sure, but not the way for USF Pro 2000.
But that's an example of the great season that Max Garcia has had. You know, clocking off wins and just clocking off top finishes at every event, finishing every event, and just skating away and just continuing to gap himself with every event.
For essentially a year and a half, he has finished every race lap. You talk about that, right? You want drivers not to have those DNFs. You want to learn. You want to get all the laps in. Here's the driver winning the championship by doing that. Finished all the laps. The driver's taking the escape right up there in turn number 1. That goes all the way around the outside of 1 back into turn number 2. So it's not like the driver has to whoop it around there. But yeah, it's the consistency has been stellar. And listen, shout out to the team Pabst Racing as well, right? Because a lot of times the driver will retire because of mechanical failure. Not so with Pabst Racing. Just an incredible run. And again, there's a little bit of good luck too, because there is luck always plays into it as well. So no issues, hasn't got collected any incidents whatsoever, and his domination pretty much throughout the year here has paid off for Max Garcia. Looking to get 2 championships and go Indy Next Racing in 2027.
Luck always plays a little bit of a role of it, but the history of Pabst Racing and the USF Pro Championships too also.
Stellar team. Augie Pabst is just a fantastic team put together there. All right, we're getting on it. Let's see what we got here now. 7 minutes remaining. A couple of drivers have gone green this last time by. Indeed, DeTulio goes faster. Douglas, Taylor, Adams, Mossman, all turning their fastest laps, as did Matt Clark. Clark back by 0.4 of a second. McNeely by 0.5. It's a full second back to Frankie Mossman in 10th spot. But I'll tell you, this is good stuff up front for Max Garcia, getting it done again. Like I said, if he could sweep the weekend as a driver slowing, one of the turn 3 cars a bit slow coming down the straightaway there through that kink down into turn number 3. I think he's probably just looking for open racetrack. Yeah, give himself some room there as Logan Adams, the 21, goes through. Adams currently in the 9th spot. Great run here so far for Logan Adams. Logan 14th in points. I want to say this would be, I think it would tie at 9th, would tie his best starting spot of the year. So a little more speed out of him, and he'll get his best starting position. Again, a single car effort. I always shout out that team. It's his grandfather, Mark Dismore, a senior, who runs the team. You know, former IRL race winner, ran in the Indianapolis 500, famous name throughout Indianapolis. Brad Brewer on the wrenches. Logan's dad, Mike, is Mama Stina at every race, right? Making it all happen. There are times that Dad Mike will do the race, be there Friday, Saturday, then drive home Saturday back to Newcastle Motorsports Park, the go-kart track, to run a club race that they have there 17 weekends, 17 Sundays throughout the year. This is a family that knows how to work its tail off.
And that's the kind of experience I'm sure is helpful and necessary as a single car effort.
Yeah.
Just with 2 and 3 cars in your stable, that's 2 and 3 times as much information as you're gathering from different drivers. It allows you to try different setups, try different things with the cars, and it all comes together at the end that everyone benefits.
We'll give a shout out to everybody who's probably at the racetrack right now, the Racers Grill at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Looking forward to being down there for the MG Tires 200. They're having a 200-lap race there. There's going to be a ton of IndyCar drivers. It's 200 laps, 2 drivers, 2 or 3 drivers if you want. $25,000 to win, $100,000 purse. You're going to see Joseph Newgarden. You're going to see Kiffin Simpson. Yeah. I think a driver tapped the wall. That's one of the TJ Speed cars potentially has hit the wall. Yeah, look at the right rear, or left rear rather. That is damage for one of the TJ Speed cars. That's the 29 of, I think. No, that's totally the 28 of Sebastian Manson. Not 29, 28. Yeah, Manson. He's going to try to crawl it back to pit lane. That's what happens when you come out of the corner through turn number 6 and 7 and tap that wall. And he is not going to be able to get back, and he's right in harm's way as well. This is probably going to end the session. Garcia on top. I think this is probably going to end the session here, because he is right as they would track out of that corner. He can't go any farther, and there's the red flag.
And that's just past where the timing line, the alternate timing line is. They move the timing line from the start-finish line for qualifying so that if drivers need or want to, they can duck right into pit lane. But that is right in the line of fire coming out of corner number 9.
So red flag flies to end this session. They haven't checkered it as of yet, but remember, we're on the clock right now. I don't know. Even if they're able to push him back, like you said, he brought it to a stop coming out of turn number 8. Significant damage to the left rear of the car. And listen, we've seen that time and time again. You're rolling so much speed coming through turn 7, either turn 6 or turn 7. Not hard to get wide, and we've seen drivers tap the wall there. I think Garcia actually might have done it last year. A couple of drivers got in the wall coming out of that corner.
Yeah, that is true. That was the one last year.
But it wouldn't have been Garcia because he finished every lap of the race. Let me correct myself. So can't remember which driver it was that did that, but yeah, you're going to see this clock go all the way down unless they're able to get this thing on the hook. Now, the bottom, listen, if they get it on the hook and get back in, do we get a minute? Does anybody take it?
Long enough to get around and get a lap in. Somebody will try it.
Right now, Garcia on top, 109.183. DeTulio was rolling. He had just gone green, his fastest lap, less than 0.2 of a second off. I'm sure he is gutted right now, figuring he had a car spooled up. 0.4 back was Max Taylor. Jacob Douglas 5th, Liam McNeely in 6th. Logan Adams up into P6. That would be his best career start in this USF Pro 2000 program. Frankie Mossman 7th. Matt Clark will not be happy to be back in 8th position. Michael Costello 9th and Ariel Elkin 10th. Remember, Clark's battling Elkin for second place in the points right now, and they're essentially going to be nose to tail, rows 4 and 5.
Not where either of them really expected to be in this qualifying session, but this is the risk that occurs when you're in qualifying and have a limited window of opportunity for green flag racing, is that sometimes if there's a red flag incident, it's going to catch you out. And as we're just about to tick past 2 minutes remaining in this session, I'm not sure if we're going to make it.
I'm going to give a shout out to 3 drivers right now. First and foremost, Liam McNeely. He had never driven a Pro 2000 car, Todd, until the practice this morning.
That's amazing.
Because he can't get into the U.S. right now as he's working on getting his visa handled. He'd never driven the car. So literally, he's won 5 races in USF 2000 to start the season. His first time driving a USF Pro 2000 car is on the streets of Toronto. This is not where you go testing, I'll tell you that. We are going to have a little look here. I'll get back to those drivers I want to mention, but we do have a bit of a replay, and you're going to see it as the checker flag indeed has come out to end the session. You're going to look to the right side of the screen. The driver's just going to come out here. See it wide coming out of the corner, and it's not going to be much. Just tapped it. Oh, tapped it, and then likely hit potentially part of the wall that maybe stuck out a little bit, or tapped something and grabbed it. So that's the damage there for Sebastian Manson coming out of that corner. And just wide enough to tap the wall. Big damage to the left rear. Not able to make it back to pit lane. That does it. Max Garcia, P1, 109.181. Throw another bonus point on for the guy up front. En route to winning the championship here tomorrow. Alessandro DeTulio for Turn 3 Motorsports in second. Max Taylor will start alongside Jacob Douglas on row number 2. Taylor for VRD Racing. Douglas for Pabst Racing. Liam McNeely, only his second session driving a USF Pro 2000 car. P5 alongside Logan Adams. That's the other driver I wanted to shout out. Fantastic run for Logan. His best career start here in USF Pro 2000. Indeed, the number 21 going P6. Frankie Mossman alongside Matt Clark on row 4. The Canadian starting 8th. Michael Costello and Ariel Elkin will be on row number 5. How about row 6? Nicholas Montiero and Carson Eder. What a fantastic drive for Carson. Good pace out of the driver for Exclusive Autosport, the priority workforce number 92. He goes P12. Manson 13th, Garcia 14th, Joey Brienza and Cooper Becklin 15th and 16th. Tyke Durst, the damage from that hard impact in turn number 11, finishes 17th. Nick Jilks, the Canadian, finds a bit more speed again. We talked about him getting up to speed. He's 18th. Brady Golan rounding out the 19-car field.
You may be wanting to call the courier to see if you can overnight that trophy here from headquarters
right
in Florida to see if it can get it to in time with Max Garcia, who scores another point for the bonus, and we'll start on pole tomorrow.
Well, that wraps things up here for the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire, all part of the Continental Tire Grand Prix of Toronto. We're back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock a.m. for USF 2000. Qualifying for race number 2. We'll go back-to-back with USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. They'll roll out at 9:35. Our autograph session set to go in the Heritage Court at 11:30 tomorrow. We'll have all of our drivers there. 37 of them will be there for the autograph session at 11:30 till 12 o'clock. First race of the weekend. We'll have the command to fire at 1:20. Tomorrow afternoon, USF2000 front of their doubleheader. And at the end of the day, 4 o'clock, USF Pro 2000 on track. 4:10 Command, I believe, to fire things up there. And again, that's the first of 2 races. They're back again on Sunday, Todd, right before the NTT IndyCar Series. Folks, that wraps things up here on the broadcast as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, back tomorrow morning, all live on the YouTube channel, qualifying for both USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. But that wraps up the day here on a Friday. Free Fan Friday of the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. On behalf of Continental Tire and Anderson Promotions, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.